Hey there. Today we're going to learn how to interpret the remainder in a division problem. And interpreting the remainder really depends on what the question is being asked. So we really need to pay attention to what the question is asking us to answer. So in this problem, we say that Gracie is making prize bags for her birthday party. She bought 64 prizes. If she puts 3 prizes in each bag, how many bags can she make? Well, in order to solve this problem, I'm going to be dividing the number of prizes that Gracie bought by the number of prizes that are going into each bag. So in this case, it's 3. When I divide the number of prizes by the number of prizes in each bag, I'm going to end up with how many bags can be made with the given amount of prizes. So in order to solve this, I'm going to solve it normally. I would divide 3 into 6. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. And when I subtract, there's nothing left over. Bring down my 4. 3 goes into 4 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. And when I subtract, there's 1 left over. So I have a remainder of 1. Well, 21 remainder 1 is the answer to my division problem, but if I'm answering how many bags Gracie can make, 21 remainder 1 doesn't really make sense. It doesn't give me an actual answer. So what I have to do is I have to interpret my whole number and my remainder and decide how I need to answer this problem. Well, in this case, my whole number tells me the amount of whole bags that Mary can make. In this case, 21. My remainder tells me how many prizes would be left over after she had made all the bags that she could. So the remainder 1 tells me that she would have 1 prize left over. Well, 1 prize isn't enough to make another prize bag because she's putting 3 prizes in each prize bag. So the answer to the question, how many bags can she make, would only be 21 bags. Because that leftover 1 isn't enough to make a 22nd bag or another additional bag. Let's take a look at another example. In this example, Jacob is going to the carnival and he has 37 tickets. It costs 5 tickets to ride the bumper cars. If Jacob rides the bumper cars as many times as he can, how many tickets will he have left? Well, we need to first set up our division problem. We have 37 tickets, and it costs 5 tickets to ride the bumper carts 1 time. So our answer up here will tell us how many rides or how many times he could ride the bumper carts with 37 tickets. So I'm going to divide normally. 5 goes into 37 7 times. 7 times 5 is 35. And when I subtract, there's 2 left over. So I come up with an answer of 7 remainder 2. Well, again, this doesn't answer the question that it's asking me. The question asks, how many tickets will Jacob have left over? Well, what this tells me again is that Jacob will be able to ride the bumper cars 7 times, but once he's ridden the bumper cars 7 times, he won't have enough tickets to ride it again, an 8th time. So he will only have 2 tickets left over, which answers my question. So I would say 2 tickets. Again, it's really important that we are reading the question to understand what the answer is going to be or how I'm going to interpret my remainder. Let's look at one other example. In this case, we'll look at a few different possible answers. So Mrs. Williams is planning a field trip to the zoo, and she is renting vans that can hold up to 8 students. If she has 27 students in her class, how many vans will she need to rent? Well, I'm going to solve this by dividing the number of students in her class, which is 27, by the number of seats available on each van, which is 8. So this will tell me how many vans will be needed to carry 27 students. So I'm going to divide 8 into 27 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. And when I subtract, there's a remainder of 3. So if I'm looking at my question and it says, how many vans does she need to rent? Well, I have to look at my answer to determine that. 3 whole buses will be needed for 27 students, but there's also going to be 3 students left over. If you are one of the 3 students that were left over, you want to go on the field trip too, right? So if she only orders 3 vans, she's only going to have enough spots for 24 students. The remaining 3 students, though, also need another van. So instead of ordering 3 vans, she's really going to order 4 vans. Now, will there be extra spots in the 4th van? Sure. It won't be 4 full vans, but 4 vans is how many I would need to make sure that all students were able to go. Again, you wouldn't want to be left behind on the field trip, so the remaining 3 students don't either. So we need to make sure that we order another van in order to answer my problem. But again, I really just need to make sure that I'm reading my problem in order to interpret my remainder. If this problem had asked me how many students are going to be in the last van, well, I would say that 3 students would be in that last van. If the question asked me how many vans are going to be full, well, I would say that, well, 3 vans would be full. But since this question asked me how many vans does she need to rent, I need to interpret that remainder as needing 1 more van, so I would say that she needs 4 vans to rent.